Please pause for a couple of minutes silence. So, good morning, everybody. We are back in the room. So, thank you very much for taking a couple of minutes to join me. And that's a picture of my husband's granddad or great granddad? Granddad, I think. Yeah, granddad. So, I thought I'd just share that with you. So, let's pass that over. As we say, a very funny Remembrance Sunday, if ever there was one, eh? Very funny all over. Okay then, so we've got a blank screen again, that sort of throws you a little bit, doesn't it? So I have got some new products to show you today, and I'm going to mix them with some older ideas and some bits and pieces. So just a half hour out of your day to come and have a look and see what I'm up to. So I'm going to be using my media mat because I'm going to be using a bit of water and I'm making a bit of mess, crafty mess. But I'm going to be using a couple of new stamps. So let me show you the new stamps. So they are from the Designer Boutique range, which are Creative Expressions. These ones, they do tend to change them. Sometimes they're on polymer, clear rubber, and sometimes they're on the grey rubber, already pre-cut though. Can't be doing with the non-pre-cut ones. That's old hat as far as I'm concerned, but these are really lovely for a DL card, and that's what we're going to be doing today. So I'm going to be doing a couple of different backgrounds and a couple of different stamps with them. As I said, they are the thick rubber ones, so you will need to, if you're going to use them on a stamping platform, you will need to adjust your platform very slightly. And I'll be showing you that in a second. So let's put them to one side for the moment, but we need to make some background. So as I said, they are perfect for a DL card. And a DL is sort of like a third of an A4 split. So it's like 10.5 by 21, something like that. So I've already cut out some bases of mine. So I've got the DL card. So this is my DL card already cut. Actually, I will give it a bit of an extra score there. And I've already cut out my black base card because I'm going to do my inking in black. So it's going to look nice to make that pop. So I've already cut that out, ready to go. And then I've cut myself out a piece of white card, which I've just managed to press on there. Hold on. We don't want that bit. Let's have another bit. That was a bit silly, wasn't it? Okay. So I'm going to use 2 different inks with 2 different techniques. So the first ink I'm going to use is going to be my dye-based ink. So I'm going to use the Eyes Ink dyes, and I've got the mini ones here. And I'm going to make this into sort of a more, well, who knows whether it's a sunset, sunrise, but I'm going to go with this sort of yellow, orange and red colours. And I'm going to use this, these are water-based inks, so I'm going to use this with a water wash, but the card I'm using is just ordinary card because I don't want to get it completely saturated if I can help it. With the technique that I want to use, oh, excuse me, it's just a fairly not very wet technique, so we're going to use that. Now, hold on a second, because I did get myself, what did I do with that? I got myself there it is, a brush. Couldn't find it. So I got myself a wide, flat water brush, and I'm going to use some of my colours on here. So I'm going to start off with the lightest, and I'm going to put a little bit of that on the side of my water mat. Then I'm going to go, so that one was a raw. Then I'm going to go with Sear, so that's just a little bit more. Then I'm going to go with Rose. Then I'm going to go with Framboise. And finally, a little bit of Cassis. So the colours that I'm choosing are just random. They're nothing, you don't have to do them or anything like that. So I'm going to first of all lightly spray my piece of ordinary card. As I said, it's not watercolour card, and you will get a different look if you went for watercolour card. I've got my aqua brush, so I've already got some water in it, and that is on a sort of a valve thing, so it doesn't let too much go in. So I'm going to start off with my raw, and I'm just putting a small amount down the bottom. Then I'm going to come up with my Sear, so sort of like my honey, and that's more of an orangey colour. So just bring that up a little bit more. Then I'm going to come a bit in with my Rose, which was the pinky colour. So a little bit of that. I'm just bringing up in gradation. So it's a very pale look, this one. It's not an in-your-face one. We'll do in-your-face in a minute. So then the Framboise, which is the much darker red, bringing that right up to the top. And all I'm doing is just going from side to side over it. Nothing more complicated than that. So just, and then finally with the Cassis at the top. So trying to blend it a little bit if I possibly can, but all I'm doing is a bit of painting really. So you can see that I've got that radiated colour there. Okay, starting off with the yellow, the Sear, then onto the Rose, then onto the Framboise, then onto the Cassis. Gosh, I really sound as if I'm fluent French now, don't I? So I'm just going to mop up here. So it has made my piece of card quite wet, quite damp. So before I start doing any stamping on it, I really need to make sure that it is dry, because otherwise we are in a bit of trouble. So I'm just going to get my heat gun and I'm going to put it on its low speed. So I have got 2 speeds here, high or low. I'm just going to go on the low speed. I've got the wire trapped, and I'm just going to lightly just dry this a little bit, mainly because I don't want to stamp onto wet cards, because then it's going to bleed a bit. I'm going to dry it from the other side as well. It will warp a bit because it has got wet on and it isn't water card. But I'm going to put it onto my image. I'm going onto my card base, using strong double-sided tape rather than glue. And then I find that that's the better way. Okay, so I hope you're all well this Remembrance Sunday. Obviously, we will be, I will be back on Wednesday, which is Remembrance Day itself, and I will be here at 11 o'clock, but it will be the same, but I will not be saying anything for the first couple of minutes. Okay, so I'm sure that you don't mind that. So just drying that all off. As I said, it's vital that you make it dry as possible. And you will find that the colours will, when they sort of dry off, they go a little bit darker. Nothing major, but just a little bit. Okay. So you've got your beautiful variegated piece there. It's very pretty, very pretty. So I'm going to take one of my stamps and just thinking which stamp to use. I think we'll go with the, so let me just show you. This one is called Twilight Grazing. I'm not sure if we're twilight grazing there, are we? No, we're not. We're going to go with this one, which is called Gone Fishing. Gone Fishing. So I'm going to pop that. So what I've done, because it's the thickened rubber, I've taken out the rubber mat from here. And if you're using a different platform, I'm sure you'll be able to find something that is how it works with your particular thing, but you do have to take some of it off. I'm just going to use my plastic. Oh, don't all go and fall on the floor. So I'm just using that as a base, really, because I don't want ink all over the bottom of it. So I'm then going to put my piece of card into the centre. Just going to hold it in place just up there if I can. And then I'm going to pop that over the top first, because I don't want to get any ink onto my piece of card, but I'm just going to make sure that I've positioned this over the top. So as I said, I've already pre-cut it, so it should be just about right. And these are designed to fit on a DL card, so they should fit just perfectly onto it. So having got that into position, I'm just going to pick that up and then just remove my protective layer there. So I'm going to use my VersaFine Clair in Nocturne. I did try using my VersaFine ordinary ink in black, in the onyx black, but I found for me that the format, let me show you what I'm talking about, the format of the actual ink pad didn't work very well. It seemed to be almost fluffy. Now it could be that I've got an old one. It isn't that old actually, but it could be something like that. But I found that this one did not happen like that. So I'm going to ink this up. I've used the Nocturne Clair, the VersaFine Clair as well, because I find that it's a very solid colour. It is part pigment, part dye. Just be very careful how I ink up my couple of, just take that off there, couple of little bits at the top there, because I've got some little birds and bits and pieces. So just pop that into position again. Don't need that in the way, and just press that all down. So you can do your image, and it's moved, hasn't it? It had moved. That's a shame, because my piece of card had moved. And so now, if I went back and did that over there, that wouldn't be in the same place. Oh dear. Anyway, I'll finish another card off on there. So in other words, I should have paid attention, and I should have made sure that I had that absolutely firmly in place, and I did not have that absolutely firmly in place. But you can see what I mean there. So it's a beautiful image. It does usually, silhouette stamps, I used to like to put them on twice, but this one would not happen. But you can see now, hopefully, what a pretty image that gives, with just a very pale, it's as if they're fishing in the morning, isn't it, with the sunrise sort of thing. So it's really a pretty image. It'd be perfect for a man's card. It would be perfect for a retirement card, just a thinking of you card. You can put your sentiment in the centre, whatever. I will do another one of those so that you can see that done in all its glory. We will listen and learn from that one. So let me just take that off, and I'm going to position my second one here as well. So let me just get my piece of card, use that as my template because we know we're not going to be using that. And I'll just get that ready to go. And that will be ready to go there like that. Okay, so all ready to go, but not inked yet. So let's just ink a piece there. So let's just trim this piece. So this white piece needs to be trimmed to 9, I think. Yeah, 9 by 20. So that's just taking it all down at 1 centimetre, sorry, half a centimetre smaller all the way around from my previous layer. And this time I'm going to use pigment ink. So this was the dye ink. That was all my watercolour with my dye ink. And this time I'm going to bring in some different colours, some blues and greens, and 3 of them. And I'm going to use the pigment inks. Now these are also by Eyes Ink, and I'm afraid I don't know what the colours of them are because they don't have them written on. But that's, I'll use that way around. That's how we're going with those. I'm going to put them on with the blending tool, which has got like a little foam base to it. I find that this works quite well with this one. So that's how we're going to go with it. Starting off with the yellow, and I'm going to start off down the bottom. I'm going to pick up my yellow pigment ink, and I'm just going to go in circular motions and rub that over probably about 1/3 of my card. And because I've got my media mat underneath, it's not a problem for getting the ink there. But if you have a blending mat or something like that of your own, that's fine as well. So about approximately 1/3 that I've got with that one. Then I'm going on with this sort of turquoisey, I think it might be called Ocean, but we're going on with that one. And I'm going to come in from the sides again, and I'm going to go probably almost to 3/4 with this one. So going up and up and up, and blending it in and just rubbing it round. I'm going to be, these inks do stay wet for quite some time, so it doesn't matter that I'm not blending them in straight away. So then I'm going to come back down to this bit here where I joined the two, and I'm going to rub longer over that bit. It will, because I've got a sort of bluey colour and a yellow, it will make that bright yellow then into a hint of a green almost on top of it, but it sort of blends it in a little bit more like that. And then in this last quarter I'm going to use this blue, and again I'm afraid no name on it, but it's a darker blue, and I'm going to run this one in. So you could use any pigment inks, your distress inks, your distress oxides, they would all work with this technique. Depending on what colour choice that you used, it will give you a different sort of effect. So I've popped it onto the top of this card, or this last section, onto about the quarter of it, and then I'm going to blend it in like we did down that end, but blending it into the sort of turquoisey colour as I go down. Okay, so that the turquoise then becomes sort of blended in. So then I'm going to go back over with my yellow ink, and I'm going to, hopefully you can see that, I'm going to then blend in a bit more of the yellow, so that I'm just blending it really. It's just giving it a really nice effect so that you've hopefully not got too definite a colour change, but when you put your stamp on, you will see that you won't even notice that there is a little bit of a colour change. So I'm just blending again, not adding any more ink, but I'm just running the ink together, blending those two, the joining line really of those two, and made that bright yellow now into more of a sort of a yellowy green, but the definition is sort of working, going up as you do. Okay, so I'm just going to put lids back onto these. The beauty of using these little inks and these tools, I should say, is that you can get them in a set. So you get 3 or 4, I think it is, of the little blending tools, plus some mini ones as well. But you get a load of the little sponges, so you can then keep them, so that when you then want to go and use a yellow one again, if I just show you, you have got all your little colorways here. So you've got 4 of your inks tools, you've got room for another 4 more. But I've got all the little sponges that whenever I want to do a yellow, I just take that off and stick that onto the bottom of my tool, and away I go. And there's the little ones there. So my blending is complete. Now, because it is a long drying or a slow drying one, I am going to just again dry that off. It's not as wet as the other one was. So it doesn't take quite so much. If you're using Distress Oxide inks, you will need to take a fair bit of time for them to dry off. And these are slow drying, but they are not so slow drying that you couldn't do anything with them. So I'm going to dry them from the other side as well. So all of your pigment inks are slow drying, so that you can do the embossing technique with them as well. So they are a different ink, and you could sort of blend with the dye inks, but they don't blend as well. You would just get quite definite colours there, which you probably don't want to. Okay, so there's all my blending done. Now I'm going to move my mat out of the way. I'm going to bring my stamping platform back in and try and get it right this time, eh? So it needs to go tucked into the corner. We need to get our magnets, couldn't think what they were called. And the good thing about this is I should be able to place them a bit better. So because I've got more of a space here, hopefully it shouldn't move then in that case. Now, in actual fact, I think that is about right. Let's just oh, don't want a wonky tree, do we? Okay, so I'm going to go back with my VersaFine Clair in Nocturne, being that it's black. Now, I haven't even stamped this one, so I don't even know how it comes out. So we shall see. So we've got a lonesome tree, and we've also got down here a little scene, which is very pretty, with some deer. So it could be a Christmassy one. Notice that it's just, hold on a second, just gone a little bit here. Now, I don't know whether that would actually come out. I don't want it to. So I'm just going to try and remove that a little bit. Hope I haven't then made it worse. That was my fault because I moved the ink pad too much. So I'm stamping it up, and this is, as I said, the first time that I've inked this. Not always a good thing. Let's make sure that it's tucked right in that corner and held in place, because the Nocturne ink is a very sticky ink, and so it does tend to sort of stick to my page. It won't sort of drink in. Oh, I like that. Like that. I am going to ink it up once more so that I can get a very crisp image, because I do prefer to do that. Whoops. So as you can see, whatever colours that you have used, it just sort of blends in. It covers it over, and it's just, I don't know, just really like them. Isn't that pretty? ink is very wet, so I'm just going to move that over. So we will be then popping that straight onto there. I have to be careful because the black ink is very wet. That is going to go onto there. You can see where it's the ink is very wet, but it will soon dry off. But I think that that is just so pretty. And if you do different colours, as I said, if you did more of a sort of orangey colour and whatever, it would be a different colour completely there. It's pretty, isn't it? So let me just put this together. So over on the website, we have the 2DL cards. So as I said, this one's called Twilight Grazing and the other one's called Gone Fishing. They are available singularly, but they're also available as a bundle for the two, which obviously saves you a little bit of money if you are going to tempt yourself and treat yourself today. I think I really ought to dry that off before I attempt to put on there. Not going to tempt fate having messed one up. I will show you the other one when I've done it, but I will have to do it again because if you can see, hold on, let's put the glue on there. Let's make it into the, and again, a nice flat card. It will go onto into your post without any extra postage because it's a nice flat card that fits in there. So I know I'm being a perfectionist, but I don't like the fact that that has not completely, that needed a second go like that one did, that needed a second go as well. And I'm not happy with that. So I will do that a second time, but hopefully you can see what a difference, the difference being that this is more of a translucent, you can see through the colours, you can see that it is there, but it's in the background and it's much more of a pale wash. And this one is really vivid, just looks, you know, like dawn is rising there. So a couple of cards for you today. So I will be doing, I had a lovely workshop yesterday with my ladies that I see in real and also some new ladies, which was nice, and some people that we've seen before. I won't say old ladies. So that was nice as well. I've got some more workshops coming up. I've got an online class tomorrow afternoon, so I'm looking forward to seeing those folk there. You will, oh dear. Oh, we don't like to hear of little animals not very well. That's not good. Yes, Sarah, I have got some more DL card blanks. They are on the website. I've put them on the Facebook page. They are all available as well, as are these two stamps as well. I will be back on Wednesday morning. And as I said, as that is really Remembrance Day, I will be back again. I will be here at 11, but there will be no sound because nothing will be going on for a couple of minutes. And I hope that you might join me perhaps in doing that. Or if you obviously, people are out on their front doorsteps, that type of thing. We will see you after that has happened. Okay, so take care, everybody. Looking forward to seeing the people for real, so to speak. And I'm just going to do another quick card of that before I put that up because I want you to see that properly. I can't be doing with it like that because I love it and I think you will as well, but it's not quite right like that with it not stamped properly. But that one is so lovely. Right, okay, have a great Sunday. Look after yourself, take care. And I will pop this all on so that you can have another look later as well. Thanks very much for joining me, everyone. See you soon. Bye-bye.